So we are talking about how to replace a. So list is a mutable. So list is a mutable. Now you can replace. You can replace the values of the list. Okay, by using slicing. So using index, you can able to replace one value. Okay, using index, you can able to replace one value. Yes. Now just try to see it. Because list is a mutable, you can do all mutable operations. Okay, now this is a list here. So the list contains some number of values. And if you want to replace one value, if you want to replace one value, you are using index. For example, if you want to replace second value, I'm using list one of 1 equal to some 88. So 1 is nothing but here index. So it will replace the value at, it will replace the value at position 1. It will replace the value at position 1. So this is 0 and this is what here 1. And this value is replaced with what is at here 88. Okay. So if you want to replace one value, you are using index. If you want to replace one value, you are using index. So here 1 is the index. What is 1 here? Index. Okay. So yeah, this 20 is replaced with what here? 88. 20 is replaced with 88. Yes, yes. क्या हुआ यार? List one of, if I'm saying here some 4. So what is 4 here is index. Now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You are replacing value at 4. You are replacing value at 4. So this value is replaced with what here? 99. Okay. So if you want to replace one value, you are taking the help of index. If you want to replace one value, you are taking the help of index. So this is index. And if you want to replace more than one value, then you are taking the help of slicing. So more than one value, you are using slicing. So one value is index and more than one value is a slicing. For example, I'm trying to create a list 2 with list of range 10, 110, 10. Now list 2 is created with how many values here? 10 values. Because I'm creating a list using what? Range. I'm creating a list using range. Okay. Now here list 2 is created with how many values? 10 values. That is from 10 to 100. List 2 is created with from 10 to what is it? 100. And if you want to replace more than one value, suppose I want to replace first 3 values. I want to replace first 3 values. Now I'm saying 0, 3. 0, 3. Now 0 is which index? Start index. And 3 is what here? Stop index. Means 0, 2, 2. Right? 0, 0, 1, and 2, because top is not included. Because top is not included, I'm saying 11, comma 12, comma 13. So you are replacing how many values here? 3 values. And you should represent those 3 values as one more collection. You should represent those 3 values as one more collection. If you are trying to say print list 2, so how many values are there in list 2? 3 values. So the first value is replaced with 11, second value is replaced with 12, and third value is replaced with what? 13. Now you can also define, suppose list 2 of, I want to replace the values from, okay, now from here, suppose assume that this is 4, 5, 6. Okay, now this is at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I want to replace, okay, I want to replace from 5, 6, 7. Then I can write here 5 colon 8. I want to replace how many values is 5, 6, 7. So I try to represent this by saying some 44, 55 and 66. Now you can see listed 2. So 44, 55 and what is that? 66. When it means it is try to replace how many values here? 3 values. So you can replace any number of values, but that is done by using which one? Slicing. I can also write list 2 of -1 colon -1 colon -3 colon -1. So this replacement is done in reverse. For example, I'm trying to write 9 comma 8. I said 9 comma 8 because -1 colon -3 colon -1. This will generate how many values? 2 values. That is -1 and -2. So what is a value at -1? 100. So 100 is replaced with 9 and -2 is replaced with what here? 8. Now this time you are trying to replace in which order here? Reverse order. Now this is a 9 and this is what here? 8. So if you want to replace more than one value, you take the help of which one? Slicing. If you want to replace more than one value, you take the help of slicing, where you can also define the step. You can also define the step. For example, list 3 equal to list 1 of range. Okay, 10 comma 110 comma 10. Now this is list 3. I'm trying to write list 3 of, okay, colon colon 2. Colon colon 2 means what is the start here? 0. What is the stop here? Length of the list. And you are trying to increment the index with what here? 2. So it means 0, 0 plus 2 is a 2, 2 plus 2 is a 4, 4 plus 2 is a 6, 6 plus 2 is a 8. Okay, so you are trying to replace how many values here? 5 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can see print list 3. If you print list 3, now you can see the value at 0 is replaced with 1. The value at 2 is replaced with the 2. The value at 4 is replaced with the 3. The value at 6 is replaced with the 4. The value at 8 is replaced with what? 5. It means you are trying to replace. You are trying to replace or update by incrementing the index with what? 2. You are trying to replace or update by incrementing the index with what here? 2. By incrementing the index with the 2. Right? So this is replacing. Where exactly this replacing is used? For example, the examples are like sorting. Suppose assume that if the question is like this, write a program to sort the elements of the list in ascending order. Sort the elements of list in ascending order using bubble sorting. Okay, using which one here? Bubble sorting. So bubble sorting is algorithm. It is one sorting algorithm. This bubble sorting is also called exchange sorting. This bubble sorting is also called which one? Exchange sorting. So where you are trying to sort the elements, where you are trying to sort the elements by comparing adjacent elements, where you are trying to sort the elements by comparing which elements? Adjacent elements. For example, assume that now bubble sorting, also called as exchange sorting. Bubble sorting is also called as what? Exchange sorting. For example, assume that this is a list. For example, assume that this is a list which contain the values like 5, okay, 5, 3, 5, 3, 4, and there is a 6, and there is a 2, and there is a 7, and there is a 1. So these are the elements which are there in the list. I want to sort these elements in which order? Ascending order. Using which sorting? Bubble sorting. In bubble sorting, you compare the adjacent elements. Means you compare the first element with what? Second element. If the first element is greater than second element, you interchange these values. Okay, 5 is greater than 3. Yes. Is it 5 is greater than 3? Yes. Then you interchange. Now this will become 3 and this becomes 5. And 4, 6, 2, 4, 6 to 2, 7 and 1. Then compare the second element with what? Third element. Is it 5 is greater than 4? Yes. Interchange these elements. Now this is 3 and this is 4 and 5 and this is 6 and 2, 7 and 1. Then compare the third element. Compare the third element with what? Fourth element. Is it 5 is greater than 6? No. So there is no interchanging is done. 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, okay, 7 and 1. Then fourth element is compared with sixth element. Now 6 is greater than 2. Yes. So this both are interchanged. This becomes 3, 4, 5 and this becomes what here? Okay, 2 and this is a 6 and this is 7 and this is what again? 1. Then 6 is compared with the 7. Is it 6 is greater than 7? No. So there is no interchanging is done. 3, 4, 2. Okay, 6 is 7 and 1. Then 7 is compared with what here? 1. Is it 7 is greater than 1? Yes. 3, 4, 5, 2, 6. Okay, 1 and 1 more is what? 7. So what you are trying to do in bubble sorting, you are trying to exchange. I mean, you are trying to compare. You are trying to compare adjacent elements. What you are trying to do, you are trying to compare which elements? Adjacent elements. Adjacent means the first element is compared with second element is compared with third element is compared with fourth element is compared with what? Fifth element is compared with sixth, and sixth is compared with 7, like that. But see, in one iteration, how many elements are compared? How many elements are sorted? Only one element. See, how many elements are sorted in one iteration? Only one element. Which element is sorted here? 7. Then again you have to compare this. 3 remaining elements are what? 3, 4, 5. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 2, 6, 1. Because already 7 is sorted or not? Yes. Then you compare 3 with the 4. Is it 3 is greater than 4? No. There is no interchanging is done. Okay, there is no interchanging is done. Okay, so the list will be the same. Then 4 is compared with the 5. Is it 4 is greater than 5? No. So there is no interchanging is done. The list will be the same. Okay, 1 and 7. And 5 is compared with the 2. Is it 5 is greater than 2? Yes. There is interchanging is done. 3, 4, 2. Okay, 5, 6, 5, 6, 1, 7. Then 5 is compared with the 6. Is it 5 is greater than 6? No. So there is no interchanging is done, right? So 4, 2 is compared with the 5, 5 is compared with the 6. Is it 5 is greater than 6? No, there is no interchanging is done. Now this is 3, 4, 2, 5 and 6, 1, 7. Then again 6 is compared with the 1. Is it 6 is greater than 1? Yes. So this both the elements will be sorted. 3 to 5. Okay, 3 to 5, 1, 6. And this value becomes what? 7. Now this time how many elements are sorted here? 2 elements. So that is 6 and what is that? 7. It's very simple. Like all the persons are there in the queue. Okay, I want to arrange them in which order? Ascending order in according to the age. Then what do? You compare the first personage with what? Second person. If the first personage is greater than second person, both you swap it. Both you do what? Swapping. That you can call it as which one? Exchange sorting. The same thing is called bubble sorting. Bubble sorting is like this. So whereas in bubble sorting, you try to compare which elements? Adjacent elements. Adjacent elements. If the first element is greater than second element, you are trying to interchange it. If the first element is greater than second element, you are trying to interchange it. Okay. Yes, this comparisons are how many comparisons are done? Okay, n into n minus 1 comparisons are done. Suppose if my list is having 5 elements, if my list is having 5 elements, how many times you have to do comparisons? Okay, in one iteration, in one iteration, how many elements are sorted? One element. Okay, if you want to compare 5 elements, you have to do how many iterations? 5 iterations or 4 iterations. Okay, it means 5 into 4. 5 into 4 and 5 into 4 is how many iterations? 20 iterations. Okay, just to see here. So write a program to sort the elements of list in which order? Ascending order. In using which sorting? Bubble sorting. Integer value. Enter how many? Enter how many values? Enter how many values? You want to read how many values? You are trying to read the value of n. You are trying to read the value of n. And then create one list. So what is the name of the list here? List 1. I want to read how many values inside the list 1? N values. I want to read how many values in the list 1? N values. I'll try to enter the values elements. Integer of input. Enter any value. So this value you're trying to add to the list, saying list 1 dot append element. So this for loop is execute how many times? N times. Means you are reading how many values? N values. And you are adding that values inside what? List. Now I'm trying to display print format before sorting. Before sorting, these are the elements of before sorting, these are the elements of list. Enter how many values? I want to enter 5 values. Now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now list is having how many values? 5 values. Okay, now you can enter in any order, right? So 5, I entered 3, okay, 4, 1, okay, 2 and 5. This is sorted or unsorted? Unsorted, right? But I want to sort it. But I said, no, you can sort it by using one method called which one? Sort. But sometimes they may ask you to write a program without using sorting, right? Then you have to write your own logic. So for in range of, suppose I'm writing for, just here, j is one index. For j in range of, okay, range of n minus 1. For j in range of n minus 1. Suppose if the value of n is 5, now 5 minus 1 is what? 4. Why? Because you are comparing list 1 of j with first element with, okay, list 1 of what is that? J plus 1. You are comparing the first element with what? Second element. So j starts from where? 0. If list 1 of 0 is greater than list 1 of 1. If it is greater than what you have to do, replace it. If it is greater than what you have to do, replace it by saying list 1 of j, list 1 of j, comma, list 1 of j plus 1 equal to list 1 of j plus 1, comma, list 1 of j. It means you are trying to store which element, second element into which position, first position, and first element you are placing into which position, second position. Now this is swapping a comma b equal to b comma. This is nothing but a comma b equal to b comma a. So you are swapping a b values. It means you are swapping first value and second value. You are saying list 1 of 0 comma list 1 of 1 equal to list 1 of 1 comma list 1 of 0. When this is done, if it is greater than. When it is done, if it is greater than, then I'm saying here after sorting, I'm trying to display the list 1. But in one iteration, how many elements are sorted? Only one element. Just see here. In one, okay, suppose I try to input 5 values, 3 and 5, and this is 2, and then 4, and this is 1. So how many elements are sorted here? Only one element. See here. 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. Which element is sorted here? Only 5. But is it other elements are sorted or not sorted? Not sorted. Why? Because this will do the comparison how many times? Only n times. How many times it will do? Only n times. But if I want to sort n elements, this comparison should be done how many times? More n times. Then you have to put this loop inside another loop. For in range of n. For I in range of n, now you are comparing it how many times? N into n minus 1 times. How many values? 5 values. Okay, 3, 5, 2, 4, 2, 4 and 1. Now you can see after sorting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this is in ascending order. If you want in descending order, use which comparison? Less than comparison. If you want in descending order, use less than comparison. If you want in descending order, use less than comparison. Okay. Yes. Use a less than comparison. Now this is in which order? Descending order. If it is ascending order, use which comparison? Greater than. But in this case, you are trying to update the values or not? Yes. You are replacing the values. But how you are replacing the values? How you are replacing the values? You are replacing the values by using index. You are replacing the values. You are replacing the values using what? Index. Using index, you can able to replace only one value, but using index, you can able to replace only one value, but using slicing, you can able to replace more than one value. Using index, you can able to replace one value, but using slicing, you can able to replace more than one value, right? Then see here. Then how to delete? How to delete? Remove or deleting, removing or deleting elements. Elements from list. How can you remove the elements from the list? How can you delete the elements from the list, right? How can you remove the elements from the list or how can you delete elements from the list? Now there are different approaches are there. There are different approaches are there for deleting elements from the list. You can delete it by using index. You can delete it by using index. Okay, delete. So you are using delete keyword. Okay, delete keyword. Now delete and sequence name. Okay, sequence name and one is index. And second one is delete. Okay, delete S of I colon J. Okay, next one is delete. Okay, you can give delete S of I colon J colon K. The next one is delete clear sequence dot clear. The next one is you can delete by using S dot remove method. Okay, remove S dot remove some item, right? The next one is S dot pop method. So how many methods are there to delete it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 6 methods are there to delete the elements from the list or sequence. Like if the sequence is mutable, you can apply this on any mutable collection. Any mutable collection. So here delete is a keyword. So here delete, del is a keyword. Del is a keyword. Okay. Which remove or delete. Which remove or delete what? Objects. Which remove or delete what here? Objects. Right? So this remove object or remove element at given what? Index. So remove more than one element, more than one element, remove more than one element using slicing. Okay, using which syntax here? Slicing. If you want to remove more than one element. So remove again, remove more than one element. Okay, using slicing, where you are trying to give starting index, stop index as well as step. So this will empty list. Empty list means remove all the elements. Remove all the elements. Now S dot remove, this syntax allows to remove element using this syntax allows to remove element using element or what is that? Value. So this will remove last element added inside which one? List. Now these are 5 syntaxes, 6 syntaxes. Actually, there is only 3 because delete is a keyword which uses either index. Delete is a keyword. This uses either index or what is that? Slicing. If you want to delete only one, you are using index. If you want to delete more than one, you are using what? Slicing. Okay, if you want to delete only one, you are using index. If you want to delete more than one, you are using what? Slicing. Now clear is there. This will remove all the elements from the list and remove it followed by the element which you want to remove it. And pop, this remove last element added inside what? List. Because it uses last in, first out. Means you can use a pop method to use the list as a stack. If you want to use a list as a stack, okay. Now stack is a data structure which follows last in, first out. So last in, so the element which is added last, I want to remove that element first. The element which is added last, that element I want to remove first. How can I remove the element which is added last from the list? By using a method called which one? Pop. By using a method called which one here? Pop. So this remove last element added inside what? List. Which follows last in, which follows what? Last in, first out. So if you want to delete elements from the list, I said no, these are called crude operations like inserting, updating. Inserting also will say, but we have not come across inserting, right? We have not come across inserting. We'll try to see how to insert also. We have seen how to append. We have seen how to replace. And we are talking about how to delete. Adding updating and deleting, adding, updating and deleting. Okay, adding, update, yes, you can pass the index also. Adding, updating and deleting, we'll try to see how to insert in between. Okay, so delete, delete it followed by index. For example, I created one list, or assume that names list is there. So there is a list which contains some names. Okay, now this is a names list. Assume that this is a names list. So there is a list of names. Okay, list of names. Now I'm trying to say print names list. So this list contain how many names here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many names are there here? 5 names are there. I want to delete Suresh. I want to delete Suresh. Now I should know the index of Suresh, right? Now this index is 0 and this index is what? 1. I can simply write delete names list. Names list of what is that? 1. So is it Suresh is get deleted or not? Yes. Okay, names list. Now is it Suresh is exist or not exist? Not exist. In the same way, I'm saying names list, delete. I'm saying delete names list of names list of -1. -1 means will it delete the last element or not? Yes. So -1. If I'm saying names list, now which one is deleted now? Rajesh is deleted now. The list contain how many names? 1, 2, 3. Neeraj, Kishore, and one more is what? Ramesh. So how many strings are there in the list here? 3 strings. Okay, that is Naresh, Kishore, and one more is what? Ramesh. Right? Okay. Now this is removing only one. Suppose if you give invalid index, then it raises what? Error. That is index error. If the index is not valid, then it generates which error? Index error. But this is removing how many values? Only one value. This is removing how many values here? Only one value. And if you want to remove more than one value, then definitely you have to go for which one? Slicing. For example, there is a list one. I created list one with some 10 values. I create list one with some 10 values. Okay, assume that this is list one. How many values are there here? 10 values are there. I want to remove first two values. How can I remove first two values? Delete list one of, what can I say? :2. :2 means what is the starting index? 0. This 2 is what here? Stop. Then what is the step here? 1. Okay, then it will delete. How many values from the list? 2 values. Now first two values get deleted or not? Yes. I want to delete last two values. I'll say delete list one of, okay, -2 colon. So -2 colon. What is a -2 here? What is a -2 here? Starting index. What is a -2? Starting index. What is the step value? 1. What is the step value? 1. So it will remove all the elements from -2 to end of the list. Now this is -2. Is it this is -2 or not? Yes. -2 of -2 plus 1 becomes what? -1. Is it any more elements to remove here? No. So it will delete how many values here? Last two values. Last two values get deleted. I want to delete all the values except the first two values and last two values. I want to delete all the values except the first two values and last two values. Means I want to delete 50 and 60. I want to delete all the values except the two values, first two values and last two values. Then I'll try to say delete list one of first two values and last two values, 2 colon -2. List one of 2 colon, what is that? -2. 2 is which one here? Starting index. And -2 is which index here? Stop index. Now, remaining all the elements it will delete except the first two elements and last two elements. Except the first two elements and last two elements. First two elements are 30, 40 and last two elements are 70, 80. So is it removed 50 and 60 or not? Yes. So if you want to delete more than one, definitely you go for which one? Slicing. If you want to delete only one value, You don't require to go for slicing. You can do that by using what? Index. Using index, you can delete one value, and using slicing, you can delete more than one value. If you want to delete all the values from the list, if you want to delete all the values from the list, how can you delete all the values from the list is, you can delete all the values from the list by saying list one dot clear. If I say list one dot clear, now list is having how many values? Three values. And if I say print list one dot clear, is it list is empty or not? Yes. So if you want to remove all the values from the list, if you want to empty the list, you can empty the list by using a method called which one? Clear. If you want to empty the list, you are using a method called clear. But using delete, I should know position, right? If I don't know the position, I cannot delete by using delete. Why? Because delete required what? Index. Okay, delete required what? Index. If you don't know the index, you cannot delete it. If you don't know the index of element, you cannot delete it. But I don't know the index, I know the value. I don't know the index, but I know the value. Then how can I remove the element using element, not by using index, not by using its position, but I want to delete it by using its value, right? Suppose there is a names list again. Assume that there is a names list which contain again names, okay, which is having names, Naresh, like this. So there is some names out there. Okay, now I want to delete one name. I want to delete a name called Suresh. I want to delete a name called Suresh. Okay, I can say names list dot remove. Names list dot remove. Names list dot remove. Names list dot remove. Which one you want to remove? Suresh. I just write here Suresh. Now if you see names list, is it names list contains Suresh here? No. Suresh get deleted or not? Yes. So not by using position, but using which one? Value. Not by using position, but using value. In the same way, I'm saying names list dot remove, names list dot remove, and I'm trying to give the name as what? Ramesh. But how many times Ramesh is there in this list? Two times. So will it remove all the values or only first occurrence? Only how many times Ramesh is there in the list? One, two. So will it remove two Ramesh or only one Ramesh? Only one Ramesh. That is first occurrence. If I'm trying to say names list, so which one is removed here? First Ramesh is deleted. But is the second one is deleted or not deleted? Not deleted. Second one is deleted or not deleted? Not deleted, right? Okay. So just try to understand. It will remove only the first occurrence. First occurrence. It will remove only first occurrence, right? If you want to delete all the occurrences, then put inside one loop. Put inside one loop. Put inside one loop until it is not found. Okay. Until it is not found. So, but remove will remove based on which one? Index or value? Value. Remove will remove not based on the index. Remove will remove based on which one? Value. Not based on the index, but it is based on the value. Now there is one more method is there, which is called as pop. There's one more method is there, which is called as a pop. Now pop is now when you go for a pop is, if you want to use a list as a stack, you want to use a list as a stack, list as a stack. You want to use a list as a stack. Okay, implementing, implementing, implementing list, implementing, implementing stack using list, implementing stack using list, implementing a stack using list. What is a stack? What is a stack? What is stack? Stack is what? Data structure. Stack is a data structure which follows. Stack is a data structure which follows what? Last in, first out. Stack is a data structure which follows last in, first out. Last in, first out. So data structure is a method of organizing data. Data structure is a method of organizing data in memory. So using a stack, you are organizing the data in memory in which fashion? Last in, first out. So the element inserted last, the element added last, the element added last is removed. Is removed, what is that? First. The element added last is removed first. So stack allows how many operations? Two operations. One is a push and one more is what here? Pop. So push is nothing but adding element inside which one? Stack. Okay, pop is nothing but removing element from stack. I said best example for stack is undo operations. Undo. If you take undo is one list. Undo is a list. On this list, you are applying which data structure? Stack. Undo follows which data structure? Stack. Okay, stack is last in, first out. Means the operation which I do last, that operation is undo first. The operation which I do last, that operation is undo what? First. It means your undo operations using which data structure here? Stack. Can I undo a specific operation? No. Only last operation which I did, that operation is undo first. The last operation which I did, that operation I undo first. But how it is organized? By using last in, first out. Now, if you see this list of undo operations, all these are undo operations, right? Now, is it in the form of list? This is in the form of list? Yes. If I want to undo bold, first I have to undo all these operations. Until unless I don't undo all these operations, I cannot undo which one? Bold. Until unless I don't undo all these operations, I cannot undo which one? Bold. I have to remove all these operations first. Then only I can remove which operation? Bold. Okay, there are so many applications which uses what? Stack. Okay, so stack allows two operations. One is push. It's nothing but adding element within the stack, and one more is a pop, which is removing element from the stack. But this adding is done using which one? Append. And this removing last element is done using which method? Pop. Adding is done by using append. How can you push? By using which method? Append. How can you push? How can you push the element? Push is nothing but adding, right? And how can you push the element within the stack? By using append. And how can you remove the element from the stack? Using pop. So because pop will remove which element? Last element. Pop will remove and return. Pop will remove. Before removing, it will return first. It will return the element first and then remove it. It will return the element first and then remove it. So pop will do two operations. One is return the element which it's want to remove and then remove it. So it's doing how many operations? Two operations. One is return and one more is what? Remove. Okay. So append is there and one more is a pop. Right. Stack allows two operations. One is push and one more operation is what? Pop. Getting on? Okay. The next is let us see how to implement this stack. Using which one? List. Now, can I use a list as a stack or not? Yes, I can use a list as a stack. That is what you learn when you learn C language or C++. You implement data structures using arrays. You implement data structures in C using which one? Arrays. But here I'm trying to implement it using which one? List. You implement stack using array. You implement queue using what? Array. You implement stack using array. You implement queue using what? Array. But here can I implement stack using, in this case, I can implement stack using what? List. I can implement queue also using which one? List. Now using list, I can implement all data structures. Using list, I can implement all data structures, right? Yes. Then let us see a simple example of doing this push and pop. Right now, I'm trying to display. I'll try to create one list whose name is which one here? Stack. This is called as empty list or not? Yes. How many ways can you create empty list? Two ways. By using list type, and one more is using empty square brackets, or I can use which type here? List type. I can use empty square brackets, and this empty square brackets also written what? Empty list. So stack is empty. Stack is what now? Empty. And I'm trying to say while true. While true means this loop is executed how many times? Infinite times. While true means this loop is executed how many times? Infinite times. While true means this loop is executed how many times? Infinite number of times. This loop is executed how many times? Infinite number of times. Infinite number of times. The loop is executed how many times? Infinite number of times. And then I'm saying here print. This is one menu. I'm displaying one menu which contain. This is a stack, and there is an operation called push. What is the first operation? Push. One is a push, and second one is a pop. First one is a push, and second one is a pop. And third one is I want to know how many elements are there in the stack, and that we can call it as view. And there is a fourth option. What is the fourth option here? Exit. Means this will terminate the loop. And how can you terminate the loop using which statement? Break. How can you terminate the loop using which statement? Break. Then if the option is 1, I need to input the option integer of, okay, enter option, enter option. If the option is 1, what do you have to do? Push. If the option is 2, what you have to do? Pop. If the option is 1, you have to add the element inside the stack. If the option is 2, you have to remove the element from the stack. If the option is 3, you have to display the elements of the stack. If the option is 4, you have to terminate. If option is 1, you have to push the element. So you are asking the element to push, right? Input, enter element. Enter element to push. And this element you have to push inside the stack. Push is nothing but what? Adding. Push is nothing but adding. I'm trying to add it by saying stack dot. What is the method? Append. Stack dot append. Stack dot append. Which one here? Element. And after that, I'm displaying the message element. Element what? Pushed inside. Pushed inside what? Stack. Element is pushed inside stack. Now this is if the option is 1. Else if option equal to 2. If the option is 2, you have to remove the element from the stack. Before removing the element from the stack, you have to check first, is it any elements exist in the stack or not? Then you are trying to verify, is it any more elements exist in the stack by checking the length of the stack, len. Len is a predefined function. It will find a return length of the stack. It will return the length of the stack. If the length of the stack equal to which one? 0. If the length of the stack equal to 0, then you are saying stack is what? Empty. Stack is empty. You cannot remove the elements from the stack. This is called as underflow condition. This is called as which condition? Underflow condition. But here there is no overflow because list is a dynamic in size. Suppose if you are implementing this using array in C language, you will try to check two conditions. Underflow as well as what? overflow. Suppose the size of the stack is 5, then I can push how many elements? 5. If I'm trying to push sixth element, then is it allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. So that is called as which condition? Overflow condition. But here you don't require to check which condition? Overflow, because list is static in size or dynamic in size? Dynamic. You cannot define the size of the list. You cannot define the size of the list. You can define the size of the array, but you cannot define the size of the list, because list is a dynamic in size. Dynamically global, and it is dynamic in what? Size. Now you are trying to say if length of the stack is equal to 0, you are saying stack is what? Empty. Otherwise, you are reading the element first. You are trying to say stack dot pop. So pop will do how many operations? Two operations. One is before removing it, it will return that element. Before removing it, it will remove that element or that value. It will return that value and then it will remove it. And after that, I am displaying the message saying that this is the element popped from which one here? Stack. This is the element which is removed from the stack or popped from the stack. Else if option is which one? 3. What is the option 3 here? Option 3 is for what? Display. I'm trying to display elements of which one? Stack. Elements of stack. I try to display which one? Stack. These are the elements of the stack. Else if option equal to 4. 4 is exit. Exit means you have to terminate this loop, right? Now can you terminate the loop using which statement? Break. How can you terminate the loop by using which statement? Break. So break is for terminating the loop, right? Break is for terminating the loop. This is what I do like that. Okay, so what is the test? Now this is the stack operations. What is the first operation here? Push. What is the second operation? Pop. What is the third operation? View. And what is the fourth operation? Exit. I want to push the element, then option is what? 1. Enter element to push. Now that you understand. Okay, then again I select 1. Enter element to push here. Push. So 4. I try to run this. Option is 1. Now 10 is inserted. 10 is pushed inside the stack. Again option 1. 20 is pushed inside the stack. Again option 1. 30 is pushed inside the stack. How many values are there in the stack now? 3 values. That is 10, 20, 30. How can I see the content of the stack? By using 3. 3 is for elements of stack. 10, 20 and 30. I want to remove element from the stack. Now stack uses last in, first out. Stack uses last in, first out. So what is the option for removing element from the stack? 2. 2 means which element get deleted? Stack uses what? Last in, first out. What is the last element added in the stack? 30. What is the last element added in the stack? 30. Now which element is removed from the stack? 30. 30 get deleted from the stack. 30 popped from stack. If you want to see the stack, I can select the option 3. 3. How many elements are there in the stack? 2 elements. I try to remove again 2. 2 is for pop. Which element is removed from the stack? Last element. Now what is the last element in the stack? 20. Now if I say 3, how many elements are there in the stack? 1 element. Again I'm saying 2. Which element is popped? 10. Now if I say 3, stack is what here? Empty. If I'm trying to pop again, if I'm saying 2, 2 is nothing but what? Pop. But is there any elements are there in the stack? No. Then immediately it will display the message, stack is what? Empty. Because there is no more elements to remove. Then enter option. Option is what? 4. 4 is for terminates. Right now this is performing. Which operations here? Stack operations. You are trying to implement which data structure here? Stack. And you are implementing stack using which one here? List. Just try to understand. You can implement almost all the data structures using which one? List. I try to copy some of the outputs, not complete. Okay. Okay. Now this is how to remove. This is how to remove the elements from the stack. How many ways can you remove the elements from the stack? 4 ways are there. One is using delete keyword, and second one is using clear, and third one is using remove, and fourth one is using pop. I want to remove all the elements from the stack. I want to remove all the elements from the list. Then I'll try to use which one? Clear. So without clear, can I remove all the elements from the list? Without clear, can I remove all the elements from the list? Without clear. For example, list 1 is there. List 1 is having how many values? 5 values are there. I want to remove all the values without using clear. Then I can use delete keyword or not. Yes. Delete list 1 of colon. List 1 of colon means what is the starting index? 0. What is the stop index? Length of the list. What is the step? 1. Will it remove all the elements from beginning to ending or not? Yes. Now print list 1. Is it list 1 is empty or not? Yes. So if you want to delete it, see, deleting can be done using slicing also. Deleting can be done using slide. So without using delete, can you remove all the elements from the list? Again, suppose list 1 is there. These are simple logics. Now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So what is the list 1 is having how many values? List 1 is having how many values? 5 values. Then I'll say list 1 equal to empty. I said list 1 equal to what? Empty. Previously list 1 is holding the list with how many values? 5 values. But now list 1 is holding this list, empty list. Then what will happen to this list? What will happen to this list object is garbage collected. What will happen to this list here? Garbage collected. Garbage collected. Why? Because is it this list address is held by any variable? No. So the object which doesn't bind with variable, that object is eligible for what? Garbage collection. So if I'm trying to write list 1 equal to empty list, now list 1 is which list now? Empty list. Now there are different approaches provided by Python for deleting elements. There are different approaches provided by Python for deleting which one? Elements. Right? Yes. Then next is how can you do the insertion? How can you do the insertion? How can you do the insertion? Inserting elements. Okay, append is always it will add at the end of the list. Append will add at the end of the list. Append is always at the end of the list. If you want to insert the element in between, if you want to add the value in between, that you can call it as which one? Inserting. Inserting elements. Inserting element inside list. Because list is a mutable. List is a mutable. So you can do all these operations, right? How can you insert it? You can insert it by using insert method. You can insert it by using insert method. There is a method called insert, s dot insert. But using insert, you can able to insert only one value. Using insert, you can able to insert how many values? One value. One value. You can able to insert only one value. For example, now you can see the syntax. S dot insert S is nothing but sequence. S dot insert S is nothing but sequence. And insert is what? Method. And I is nothing but index. And X is nothing but value. Okay, S is nothing but sequence. And insert is a method. I is a index. X is a value. This value it insert at this position. This value it insert at this position. So S dot insert I is nothing but index and X is what here? Value. Inserts X into S at the index given by I. And if you want to insert more than one value, you can take the help of which one? Slicing. Okay. If you want to insert more than one value, you can take the help of what? Slicing. Now, for example, there is a list. Now, there is assume that course list is there. Course list is there, Java, Python, and I just write here Oracle. Java, Python, and Oracle. Now, this is a list of courses. This is a list of courses. Now, this is a course list. Course list is having how many courses here? 3 courses. So, what is the first course here? Java, and second is Python, and third one is what? Oracle. I want to insert one course. I want to insert one course after Python. After Python, I want to insert the course. After Python, I want to insert. After Java, I want to insert one course. After Java, between Java and Python, I want to insert one course called C. I want to insert one course called which one? C. Between the Java and Python. So what is the index of Java? 0. What is the index of Python? 1. Okay, I want to insert. I want to insert at which place? 1. See, whenever you do insertion, it will try to shift all the elements towards which side? Right side. And whenever you do the removing, it will try to shift all the elements towards which side? Left side. On insertion, it will shift all the elements towards which side? Right side. On deletion, it will try to remove all the elements towards which side? Left side. Suppose if I remove Java, then Python is moved at which place? Java place. And Oracle is moved at which place? Python place. Getting or not? But when insert it, it will shift the elements towards which side? Right side. I want to insert C language at which position? First position. Then from Python onwards, it will move one position which side? Right side. Now I'm trying to say course list. Okay, course list dot insert at which position? 1. And I want to insert which language? C language. Now after inserting, now you can see Java, C, Python, and one more is what? Oracle. Okay, Python, Java, C, Python, and Oracle. If I'm trying to say course list dot insert, I'm trying to write -1. Okay, course list dot insert -1, and I'm trying to say C++. So where it will insert my C++? Where it will insert C++ at which position? -1. But already -1 is having which one? Oracle. Is it Oracle is shifted left side or right side? Is it Oracle is shifted left side or right side? Huh? Right side, right? Then just to see here, course list, and you can see C++, and one more is which one? Oracle. C++ and one more is which one? Oracle. Means Oracle is shifted which side? Right side. Oracle is shifted which side here? Right side. Because whenever you do insertion, is it elements are shifted towards the left side or right side? Right side. Now when you inserted -1, this -1 is Oracle, right? Now this is shifted which side? Right side. And at -1 place, it will insert which one? C++. Then this C++ become -1, huh? No. Which one becomes -1? Oracle. It means you can insert from left to right. You can insert from right to left. So using negative index, you can insert from right to left, and using positive index, you can insert from left to right. Now that is the difference between negative index and what? Positive. If you want to insert more than one value, then take the help of, if you want to insert more than one value, then take the help of, if you want to insert more than one value, take the help of course list of, I want to insert two values at second position. This is 0, 1 and 2. At this place, I want to insert how many values? Two values. Then give the slicing. 2 is a starting and 2 is what? Ending. 2 is a starting and 2 is ending. And I want to insert some courses like data science. Okay, I'm trying to insert a course called some machine learning. Okay, I want to insert one course called some deep learning like this. How many courses I'm inserting here? Three courses. From which position? From which position? Second position. Now starting index and ending index must be same. If you give the starting index is 1 and ending index is 1, then what will happen? It will try to replace more than replace. It will try to replace. If you want to insert, the starting and ending index must be same. Starting and ending index must be same. Starting and ending index must be same. Now course list. Now course list inserted how many values? Three values. From which position onwards? Second position onwards. Right? That is inserting values into the list. You are inserting values into the list by using which method here? Insert method. You are inserting values into the list using which method? Insert. Adding, updating, removing, inserting, retrieving. How many ways can you read the values from the sequence? First one is using index. Second one is slicing. Third one is iterator. Fourth one is enumerator. Fifth one is for loop. How many ways can you read the elements from the list? 5 ways. 5 methods are there. Okay. To read one value, use the index. To read more than one value, use what? Slicing. If you want to do only reading, use what? Iterator. If you want to do reading, then use what? Enumerate. If you want to read sequentially, then use what? For loop. Okay. Then there is miscellaneous methods are there. Like there is a reverse, copy. There is a copy. If you want to create a copy of the list, if you want to create a copy of the list, copying it. So I'm talking about copying here. Creating copy of list. Creating the copy of the list. Now this is useful if you are working with certain applications. This is very much useful if you are working with certain applications here. So creating copy of the list. So Python allows to create a copy of sequence. Okay, copy of sequence or list in two ways. Okay, one is there are different types of copies here. One is called as a shallow copy. There are two types of copies are there. One is shallow copy, and there is one more type of copy which is called as deep copy. How many types of copies are there here? Two types. One is shallow copy and one more is what? Deep copy. So creating a copy of the objects or creating the copy of the elements or copy of the list. So how many types of copies you can do here? Two copies. One is a shallow copy and one more is a deep copy. So why you create a copy of it? Because if you do certain operations, suppose you are doing mutable operations. Okay, you created one list and that list, on that list, you are doing some mutable operation. Mutable means you may insert, update, delete. It means whenever you do inserting, updating, deleting, so the changes will be done in the list or not? Yes. But before doing any changes in the list, as a developer, I want to make a copy of the list. I want the original list should be, I want the original list should be same, but I want to do the operations on which one? Copy, so that my original list will remain what? Same. Then how can I create a copy of the list? How can I create the copy of the list? There are different types of copies are there. One is shallow copy and one more is what? Deep copy. That is what you do it generally also. Okay, generally what you do it, suppose if you want to, suppose there is one form is there. One form is there. Now before filling the form, you take the copy of it. Okay, there is only one copy is there. You take the copy of it because if any mistake is done, what you do it, you take another copy. You take another copy. Here also same thing. There is a list. There is a list with some values. Here also same thing. There is a list with some values. And you are doing some operations like inserting, updating, deleting. By mistaken, you deleted one value. Then how can I get it? There is no undo. How can I get it? There is no undo. Then what will I do? I'll make a copy of that list. I make the copy of that list and then I perform. I make the copy of the list and I perform which operations? Mutable operations. But how can I create a copy of it? That is done by using two methods, shallow copy and deep copy. This is frequently asked question, like what is the difference between shallow copy and deep copy? Okay, in this copy is in almost all the languages. See, what is the difference between shallow copy and what is that? Deep shallow copy and deep copying of Python objects. Okay, shallow copy versus deep copy in what? Python. What is the difference between shallow copy and what is that? Deep copy. Okay, yes, but we'll try to see this. What is the difference between this shallow copy and what is that? Deep copy. But not today because it will take some time. But tomorrow we'll continue with this shallow copy and what? Deep copy. Right. So today we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue this. Okay.